All righty. Good evening, good afternoon, good morning, everybody. How's everyone doing today? Welcome on into the Dragon's Den. My name is Digital Dragon, and I am a 3D printing variety streamer here on Twitch. What does that mean? Well, we do everything from assemble 3D printers to building 3D printers from scratch, either from kits or full-up builds like our Zero-G Mercury 1 here. We do some cosplay helmets, and we're going to be doing a full cosplay armor set here soon. I also take part in some beta tests and prototypes, such as the Zero-G Mercury 1 here. I took part in the closed beta testing for the full frame, custom frame build, as well as worked on the trad rack. And I take part in printing out some miniatures for our friend, the Free Heathen. So this is one of his little orc rocket guys. I've got a couple of those prints here that I've been trying to print out on the new Rook, and I need to still dial in some of the print settings because the supports are sticking way too well. But anyhow, welcome on in, everybody. Let's see. We got Modlight here, Aceta Kraus here, Chewy came in. You got okay, so I heard you said you were working towards getting a trucking job, but you got the trucking job. You just have to pass the DOT physical and your learner's permit for your, I'm assuming that's is it your CDL that you need? And then I go to the trucking school after that, I will start making money. That's awesome, Aceta Craft. That is really awesome. Class A, okay. Gotcha. So is that where you have to have a Class A and then you'll get your CDL, or is a Class A just a smaller vehicle size? I'm assuming that they go by weights or something. But yeah, that's awesome. That's good to hear, big guy. Awesome, awesome. Yeah, CDL. Okay, Class A is CDL. Gotcha. Okay, that's right, because when we see truckers and we think semis, we think CDL. But when you think Class A, I always think mobile homes, like full up, like I'll say bus style mobile homes, or tour buses, stuff like that. I always think Class A versus CDL for those. If they're personal versus, like a tour bus is of course going to be a CDL. Okay. So welcome on in, everybody. CDL's commercial driver's license. Yeah, okay, gotcha, Modlight. Awesome. So tonight, as you can tell from the title of today's video, it's going to be a tale of two rooks. And you go, but Digital Dragon, you have 3 rooks. Yeah. Gold Dragon sitting down there on the floor now. We know it prints. It's the gold standard, my Mark 1. So what we've got today sitting on the bench is, well, here, let me move this up here. So sitting on the bench today, we've got the Rook 2020 build that we got printing on the last stream. And we're just sitting here tuning and just running some prints off on it. And by running some prints off on it, I mean, once again, I broke his tail off, but I've been working on some little miniatures from Free Heathen, and this is one of his little orc rocket guys. We got the base plate and everything that he would sit on, right? And when I say I'm working on the supports, I mean, like, these supports are pretty much welded on. I tried to take one off of a different print with some different settings, and I actually broke one of his hands and arms off. But this was one of the actually the first print. This is the Orca Slicer calibration cube that we printed. And if we can get a good look at this, and I can get the right light, you can see that we do have some ghosting and ringing on here. And there you go. There's some good ringing there. This was no input shaping or anything. I ran manual input shaper and have some settings on here now, but we're going through and trying out some small prints. This is a baby T-Rex keychain. So the keychain will go right through the mouth. We've done some chameleons, and you'll see some more of these today. So we're getting some pretty good, decent prints off of these, or off of this printer. And what we're planning on doing here. Okay, I see the crack. And Chewy, I'm not sure if you saw my response on Discord, but yeah, dude, let me know how you want to get it to me, and I'd be happy to build it. In fact, I'd probably build it on stream too. Okay, good. If you're going to Earth, then bring it to Earth with you if you can, and I'll just pick it all up from you at Earth. If not, we can talk about passing addresses and stuff so you can ship stuff to me. And Modlite package went out in the mail today to you. I told them to email me the tracking number, and it hasn't come through my email, which means it got. So I use a live.com email account for many things, and I run junk mail blocker on that one, but the live.com, which is MSN, pipes over to a Gmail account. So I basically run through 2 spam filters. So it just probably got hung up in one or the other. So I'll go grab that and get the number for you and send it to you via Discord. Okay. Yep. But like I said, it went out today, and I sent it out. Priority mail, flat rate box. So, and Chewy, yeah, if you can't make it out there, no big deal. Like I said, just keep the conversation going in Discord, and we'll get stuff squared away. Your pancake steppers coming today. Well, speaking of pancake steppers, we've got a NEMA 14 stepper motor here. This is the high temp variant from LDO Motors. So this is the little 36 millimeter NEMA 14 pancake stepper motor. So what we're going to do is we're going to get this one printing, and while this is printing on our Fabrico Rook, because I'd already cut the wire short on this one and it won't fit anymore, we're going to mount this motor to our Sherpa Mini and run the wire down, and we'll have this one printing soon, and we'll basically do our side-by-side prints. So cool. And then this one can be used anywhere else that I do something like this, because I'll just shorten the motor wires up again and connect it into a tool head board. So don't worry, this motor is not going to be thrown away. It will be reused. In fact, I've got another motor sitting here that's got one of the wires is broken on it. So I have to open it up and resolder a wire. So yeah, so we call that just routine maintenance. But we will get this started here. I'm gonna have to swap that out with a different type of a thing. And you might see me, I don't know, sit down and take a load off my feet. Where am I at here? You know, I'll just sit down and take a load off my feet. We'll talk about what I'm sitting on here in a little bit too. I want to get this up and running. Okay, sounds good, bud. Oh, I had a couple of things come in as well. This is the Raspberry Pi 02. This is the Raspberry Pi Zero. So this Pi 3 that we have on the Rook 2020 will come off and get replaced. Also, for those of you that have not been paying attention or haven't been around, Mrs. Dragon will be coming home tomorrow, which means she's supposed to be bringing a, I don't know, we'll see if she was able to get some, oh no, I know, I got that one. She's supposed to be bringing some Raspberry Pi Zeros back with her from Micro Center in Denver. So with any luck, I'll have a few more to have on the bench. So now what I want to do, yeah, we're going to want our wire to, oh, before I get going here, let me just pop over here. No, that's not what I wanted. That's what I wanted. We're just going to get this restarted printing something. So I'm going to go ahead and get this mounted on here. And then we'll take the old one off because I'm going to have to take it out of one loop and then put it in another loop, which will be fun because that means I get to redo my wiring sleeves the whole time. Yay! Yeah, the pies are starting to come back into, hey Timor, how's it going? Hope you're doing well, my friend. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, Raspberry Pis are starting to come back onto the market again, which is nice. And, you know, we'll be able to, especially so the zeros are there in numbers. It's the 02s that aren't necessarily there in big numbers yet. But once they come in good numbers, that'll be what I think a lot of us are waiting for. You know, and I'll be quite honest, with this up here on the Rook versus the Sentinel, I kind of like the Sentinel But I think the Sentinel works well on this one, where if I put a Sentinel on this one, I'm going to lose some travel room, right? Hey, Creatix Brent, how are you doing tonight? I hear you're going to be doing like a crossover stream later today. Something about brick building? Not sure what that is, but... And yes, I tease. Let me tease. Dang, dude. This is going to be a little bit more involved than I thought, just because I ran these wire looms actually down underneath here some. So I'm going to start by taking off the side that I broke, and I'm going to have to reprint this and apparently find that screw that I just dropped. Either reprint it or possibly acetone weld it, which might be an option. And I'll show you what happened is I grabbed it by the base, and you can see it pretty much split right down the middle. So I can probably just acetone weld that without having to reprint it. But it's holding on by like a thread and a prayer right now. And I'm going to need to take the power supply off in order to get to the board, which is underneath the power supply. That's a lot of boards, dude. And if your main controller is going to be the SKR, then you're going to need like a UTC to, which is a USB to CAN bus board, because you're going to run into well, that, I have no idea if the RPi 20, yeah, if the RPi 2040 chip will be able to actually support that. Because basically you're going to be talking CAN bus to multiple boards at that point. Hey, Nick, welcome on in. Ooh, Taco Tuesday. Yeah, so I've got my coffee. I did go and get Dunkin' Donuts earlier today. So there's that. And as I said, Miss Dragon's coming home tomorrow, which means I'll be in the doghouse tomorrow, which would be nothing new. Just because the yard's a mess, I haven't been able to mow it because it's too wet in the morning because of the dew. And then by the afternoon, we've been getting rainstorms most of the afternoons. So it's a big mess. It needs to be cut. And I haven't been able to pull the weeds and stuff like that. So, I'll be okay. And it doesn't help that printers keep showing up as well. I mean, out of nowhere. Okay, so extruder motor is the first motor. So that would be that one. Now, why would I have actually put zip ties in here and zip tie my wires out of the way? What would have ever prompted me to do that? You know, this is the downside of trying to make really pretty wire runs, is the maintenance. Whenever you got to do maintenance, pretty bad when I need to throw extra light in here so I can see. That was good. Hey, Shenanigans, how's it going? Thank you for the subscribe, or I'm assuming a resubscribe. Welcome on in. Welcome on in. Well, yeah, it's the grass, and it's the grass, and so along the front side of my house, we have a pretty steep hill, and so we have a big, huge rectangular mulch bed, and like where the heavy rains from the hurricane and stuff the last couple of weeks, it kind of made some rivet, like little cut through rivers through it, and that whole area has now got grass in it. So she's gonna, I swear, she's gonna have me out there at like 5 in the morning pulling grass and stuff out of there. I know her. She's gonna be like all over me. So I can't guarantee that we'll stream on Thursday because, well, like I said, I'll be in the doghouse, and she may have me like doing hard labor. But yeah, we'll see about Thursday. But Saturday, we will get into a box that arrived. Are you kidding me? Apparently not. Not because this is an SKR, not a Pico. That's annoying. Oh well. We're gonna. How are we gonna do this? I'm gonna put this back down in there. Try and get it back through the wire wrap. Really, really sucks when you unplug the wrong one. So what we're doing here is we had a motor on our extruder, and we had that motor set up for a Bowden setup. And I can never get the Sherpa Mini to work well in that Bowden setup. So I'm converting it to a direct drive The problem is I had already cut this wire, which means it's now too short, right? So we'll reuse this motor somewhere else. I gotta remember, that was an 8-tooth. This is probably not an 8-tooth. This is probably a 10-tooth. Would have been something to validate before I took it apart, but c'est la vie. Okay, so because we are running it from the tool head now, we're going to actually run it in the second loom over here that goes all the way up to the tool head board, or to the tool head. So this back down where it was. Um, as far as I may or may not stream on. Oh, isn't that lovely? I'm like, oh well, let me swap the motor. No, I think it's going to be more like, oh, let me. It's actually going to be, oh, let me actually extend the motor wires because this motor's not, or these motor wires aren't going to make it either. So if I'm going to extend wires anyhow, I will just use the original motor. Yeah, and this is something to be careful of. When you get pancake stepper motors, just know that some of them, like this one, has an 8-tooth spur gear. This one has a 10-tooth spur gear. So you would have to change some parameters if you do that. Oh, okay. So the old motor's on the left, new motor's on the right. So the old motor actually is still longer than the new one I got. So I guess we're going to go with this one still. We'll put this one back on there. But what I was going to say is you got to be careful of the spur gears. So this spur gear has 8 teeth, where the other one that I just picked up, same form factor and everything, this one has 10 teeth on it, which means you'd have to change some settings um, in your configurations. But what we'll do is we'll have to do an extension to this in order to make it long enough now. But we will go ahead and put this one back on just so I don't have to do any configuration changes, but I will have to make an extension cable for it. And the part that stinks is I had to take everything apart just to figure out that I was going to have to make an extension cable for it. The good news is it won't have to be too big of an extension, but I am going to have to get this into the wire wrap here. Yeah, shenanigans. This, the one I'm working on right now is the Fabrico Rook kit. This kit is $299 through the Fabrico website. I've got 3 different Rooks now. I've got a Rook Mark 1, which was a full self-source based off Rolohan's original design. And the Fabrico Rook has a few different, I'll say, changes to it. One was the use of a Sherpa Mini mounted on the back, which I really, really like the idea. I just cannot get it to reliably push filament in a Bowden configuration. Every time I've tried, it pushes the Bowden tube out of the top, and as soon as you get the Bowden tube loose, you've lost your tension on the filament, and it just doesn't work out well. And then, so that was why I'm making the decision here to change around and go to a direct drive setup, because I run Sherpa Minis a lot, and every single one of them I have in a direct drive setup has been phenomenal. I mean, it just works beautifully. So I was looking, it was looking like I was going to have to completely swap the tool head from the Rook, which is what I have on this, to something like the Sentinel in order to do that. But I found this plate here that mounts to where the normal strain relief, or not the strain relief, well, yeah, the strain relief for the tool head wires would be. So it mounts here, and then your Sherpa mounts right on top, and you're in a direct drive configuration then. And that will enable me to continue to run the Rook with it being a little bit taller. But the good news is that the Sherpa does not add much to the weight, if all. So, I mean, obviously it adds something, but not a lot. What I need to do is just get this through here. See if I can get that in the cable wrap. Okay, that's good enough. Now what I'll need to do is just make an extension cable that'll ride around the edge here. And luckily, I have plenty of said extension cable in the form of other motor wires that I have cut off. So I just need to find one that works. Preferably one that's got some length to it and may actually still have a, darn, that doesn't have a connector on the end of it, but close enough. Well, that one has a 4-wire. The biggest thing that I'll have an issue with is whichever way I go is just trying to like match up the wires in such a way that I keep the polarities right. So I've got a couple that may work. Might have the right or the same colors and stuff, which will make matching them up easier. And probably what I'm going to do is just cut a length and just solder them together, one way or the other. Because if I go to use a JST connector on the end, I'm pretty sure I'd have to solder it with the connectors that I have available to me. So where's my pin? So if I'm going to have to solder the connector on, then I might as well just do my little heat shrink tube and solder wire to wire. Yellow, green, red. Yep, same color. So, uh, you were talking about this being a pretty tight build, and yeah, when I did this, I made sure that I had everything wired nice and we'll say nice and pretty. And kind of pushed out of the way. So, how am I going to? Oh, loud bang. Okay. Get a couple of these off of there. I think how best to work on this. Because what I really need to do is set it on its top, and there's no easy way to do that because of the tool head and stuff. I guess I can do the side. So once again, this is kind of the downside of doing maintenance on a printer that you've already built. If you've done like very nice wire management and got everything zip tied in place and all that good stuff, is just trying to get wires out and then replacement wires in if you need to replace a component. Kind of a pain in the butt. And especially on a printer like a Rook that's very, I'll say, small in stature to begin with. So, hey, I'm doing pretty good, Free Heathen. Sorry about that. So, I got a little guy here. He printed very well, but I ripped his tail off when I was trying to get the supports off. I'm still trying to tweak the supports on here because yeah, they were just way too grippy. But this is printed on the Rook 2020 that we just finished. Yeah, I'm using tree supports, but once again, those are pretty much welded on there. This was just using auto tree supports through Orca Slicer. Exactly. So I need to tweak those settings. I'm actually trying to build a PLA profile for Free Heathen Workshop Minis. So yeah, working on those. But here's a couple of the others that I've printed off. So this is a little baby T-Rex keychain. So the hole in his mouth is on both sides and it lets the keychain go through. But it's a little flexy T-Rex baby. And then we've got, these are the little chameleons for Toys for Tots. I really need to, I mean, close up you are seeing some layer lines. Still not perfect, but I am tuning them in. First layer is pretty good. Probably get a tad bit more squish on them. But, yep. I think they are Free Heathen. I think there were a few of the ones that he has freely available. Not sure. You know what? I may be an idiot here. Because I'm like, I only have the fittings that you would solder. And then I go, well, wait a minute. I pulled it off of one of these. Now, granted, this is a heck of a long extension, and I'd have to cut it up. But now I'll just do the solder. That's fine. I got to see if I can find some of these extensions, though, that aren't like 2 meters long. And let's, so the JST, I guess, male connectors that this end would go to that I have, they're really designed for like soldering to a board, like through hole soldering, not really soldering wires to it to make an end. I have done that for some, for a few like 2-pin wires here and there, but I really don't like to do that. That's not what they're designed for. I mean, I could switch this over to a microfit, but God's honest truth, I'm not going to do that either. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this end off, and we're going to just use our little solder heat shrink tubes to do the 4-wire connections, and we'll call it good. And hey, Royal Nomi, I saw that you just snuck in here. Welcome on in, dear. Welcome on in. I'm like trying to lose my mind, apparently. So we're doing a little bit of surgery because we moved the location of where our motor was, and I had already trimmed down the motor wire. I'm now having to extend it back. And I thought I was going to be tricky and just replace motors. And the new motor that I bought actually is a shorter wire run than the one that's in there. So go figure. Which is no big deal. I'll add it to the pile of motors I have over here. Heat gun. Let me get caught up a little bit on chat here because I'm seeing a lot of chatter. Busy with work. I can definitely go along with that. I did hear that on your stream that Polymaker is going to be hosting some of your models on their table to show the different colors. Uh, Yours has been lost forever. I don't know what that is in relation to, Royal Nomi. Hey, Pez Liz, welcome on in. Welcome on in. Yeah, I like so lost in my own chat right now. 70 different models in Polymax. Awesome. So I'll say shenanigans, it depends. So my original Rook Mark 1, which is right here, by design, the Rook printer is designed around being PLA. All of Rolohan's printers initially were based on PLA. So this is a PLA printer. It's Polymaker Gold, and I believe this is their Galaxy Black. And all of this is PLA. And this was running at MRF. It will be at ERF as well, running there. And then the Fabrico Rook that I'm working on right now to fix the extruder on, that is Polymaker Blue and Lime ABS. And then our Rook 2020 here is Orange ABS, all by Polymaker. And then if I switch back screens, we'll have a V0 down on the end, which I believe that was, the black is Sunlu ABS Plus. I can't remember what the blue was. The Trident is Sparta 3D, Sparkle Fluorescent Red, and Sparkle Old Copper ABS. The 0G Mercury 1, this is Galaxy Gray ABS by Polymaker, and a fluorescent blue ABS, I believe from KVP. Whoops. The Voron 2.4 here, which is Fey Dragon. This is Polymaker Purple ABS and Sparta 3D Sparkle Pink or sparkle fluorescent pink ABS. Purple haze here is primarily Polymaker purple ABS. Keep stepping on things. Over here in the corner that's behind chat, this is Kyber Dragon. This is the LVO Motors 2.4 kit that will be going to Earth with me. And this is a purple frame and orange ABS and black ABS from Polymaker. Majority of my stuff I'm doing ABS, whether it calls for it or not, just because I can. What's up, Free Heathen? So this is a this Mark 7 or Mark 8 helmet. And this is the Blood Angels. This is a Polymaker what was this one? Metallic red. Polymaker metallic red, and the earpieces and the other black pieces are Prusa Galaxy Black. Yes, this is the one that cracked, and I did get it put together somewhat. And for those of you that know, you know. This is Mia. It's Mia's stream if you're a Westery fan. I am a Mia fan, so Mia sits back here protected and hidden, but she keeps an eye on the stream to make sure that you guys stay on your best behavior. The other helmet that I'm really, really proud of, none of this is painted. This is all 3D printed, and this is metallic bronze. Polymaker PLA. The blue is Xyltech Cobalt Blue. The chrome is Polymaker Silk Chrome. And then the tubes are actual tubing that I got off Amazon. And this is a Warhammer 40,000 Space Marine Chaplain's helmet. And then, yeah, I've got 2 Halo helmets, a Wrecker helmet from the Bad Batch. We've got a heavy Mandalorian Spartan mashup helmet from Galactic Armory. And this is in Polymaker Draft PLA. And then the other one that Britt wants to see more of, and you will, this is in, this is the Galactic Armory's Imperial Mandalorian Commando helmet. This is 3 pieces, so the front shield's a piece, the back's a piece, and then the dome is a piece. And this is in Cosplay PLA B, the Cos PLA B from Polymaker. And then I'm also, I've got all of the different armor pieces done, but I've started reprinting it in ABS. So once again, the ABS, I'm primarily doing it in ABS because it will travel a little bit better. And it's coming out very, very smooth. That Cos PLA, I think I just wasn't running a high enough temp on it, and it came out fairly rough. but this came out a lot smoother. I just need to do the dome and the accoutrements for this. But I've started putting parts together, and I'm trying ABS welding with a acetone ABS slurry. And then I've also got a plastic welder. We talked about this on stream before. This is the same thing that I sent the Westry one actually, but it's a plastic welder that uses different types of staples. So you'd heat the staple up and actually melt it into the plastic like you would a heat set insert. And there's different ones for different parts of the, whether it's a corner or a seam. And it's already got the side cutters for cutting the staples when you're done. And the plan is, whether I do some combination of plastic welding, acetone welding, epoxy. I'm still going to have to sand it. I'm still going to have to smooth it out a lot. And then I'm going to do a primer, a sandable filler primer, probably a couple coats between sandings, gloss white, and then a clear coat, and that'll handle all of the white stuff. And then the parts that are supposed to be the Beskar, which is primarily the ab pieces and a couple of pieces on the helmet where you'll see that dark gray Beskar material. I'm going to use a gloss black and graphite powder. And basically use the graphite powder like rub and buff. And that will get you your Beskar looking graphite gray. And I like the idea of the ABS because it's more heat resistant, right? So we'll wait for the add mod light. Okay. Yep. Waiting a few more seconds for the ads to finish for those that can hear me. I need my strippers. I'm going to try and do these just one at a time. That way I make sure and get my colors right and don't have any issues. But yeah, that's kind of what we've been working on. And like I said, I'm this is my first ever cosplay, my first foray into painting cosplay stuff. So yes, for the throne. Yes, the stream has strippers. How's it going, Ian? I really, really, really need to get me like a butane heat source or an actual like solder heat gun station. Okay, Mod Light. Oh, yeah, that's right. I saw that you were going to on a work trip, right? It was a work trip, Ian. Oh, yeah, that's rough, my dude. That is rough. Yeah, my boss keeps telling me I need to go down and get my passport. So we've got first we've got offices in Europe, being Cisco, but we also have offices in India. So I might have to travel to one of those one of these days. Long live the 616. Yeah, good to have you in here, Ian. Definitely good to have you in here. It's been a while since I've either been on your stream or you've been on mine. Nice to have you here. Um, so while we're waiting for that to cool down, we'll go ahead and get another set of wires. So what we're doing here is we're just extending some wires because I moved this. I'm changing this from a Bowden tube, a Bowden setup to a direct drive setup, and I had already, you know, cut the wires down and had nice lengths and all that goodness. And initially, I was like, oh well, I'll just buy a new motor and replace the motor, and I can use the motor with the shorter length wire later on for another build or something that's got a tool head board on it. Well, yeah. So the new motor actually has a shorter um, cable length than the old motor. So we just went back to the old motor. And these are heat shrink tubes that have solder in them. So you get them hot, the solder melt, creates your nice solder joint. melt the plastic, burn your fingers, all good. But yeah, these are, whoops, like, hey, see, you guys have me talking. So yeah, I'm just using these little things. So you get them hot right there in the middle where the solder joint is. The solder will melt, and they're not that expensive. You get them in a pack off of Amazon, and the only thing that stinks is you get like a specific quantity of each size. And for the most part, I'm extending thin wires. So I've got a lot of the other sizes that I've just got a bucket ton of. So what I need to do is see if I can get just like the small size versus the bigger sizes to kind of fill back in the gaps. Because I don't have the need to do the big wires for most stuff. Oh, nice. Yeah, the helmets are pretty cool. I really need to do some finish work on them, and get like the lenses in there, maybe sand them and paint them. Though I've decided the Space Marine chaplain, so this helmet isn't going to get painted. It's staying the way it is. Now that doesn't mean I won't do another one and try and paint it, but I think I would have to really think about how I wanted to paint that. Um, but Galactic Armory's come out with a couple of new helmets in the last couple of days that I'm just like, they're killing me because I don't have. I mean, I've got the printer to print them. That's not the issue. I've got filament to print them. That's not the issue. The issue is, the multiple days to print the helmet, and then I'm going to have the urge. Once I start, I know I'll have the urge to finish the helmets off, and then it's just a complete time suck. So I've got a bolt pistol partially printed out. Um, and I've got some chainsword files for Heathen. I just need to actually get off my butt and start printing them. Okay, that'd be great, Mod Light. If you can throw those, links in the Discord, that'd be great. Yeah, Heathen. I hear you there with I only sleep like 4 hours a day, and dude, my whole sleep cycle is so messed up with Mrs. Dragon being gone. Um, One, I don't sleep as well when she's gone, and then two, I have a tendency of staying up and I don't know, playing with printers or stuff like that. Okay, so that's there. We need to try and loop this around the edge again. And get it out of the way. You know, like I need something to put things on. Bad when you need to raise things up and your go-to is, hey, let me grab some filament boxes. Because I need to try and see in here. Darn it. Stop that. Do a little bit of zip tie magic. Magic part is actually being able to see the zip tie. And I originally had zip ties around this front corner, but yeah, they're not going to be back there now because in order to get them in there, I'm going to have to take the whole board out, and I don't want to do that. As is, we're going to do that. We're going to put these back on. The nice thing is we matched wire to wire color wise. So as long as I match color to color again, I'm good. And same thing for the extension. We matched color to color when we did the extension. So we shouldn't have an issue with like a motor being reversed or anything. Ooh. We're going to have to change the direction of the motor because we're going from coming in at the bottom and going out the top to going in at the top and coming out the bottom. So we will have to change the direction of the stepper motor. This went, yeah, like that, which means white is hot, blue is cold, so blue's the neutral on the return. That goes there. These wires just get pushed down, and this will go in the front. Wires snake around like that. And then we'll have a couple of screws that come in from the front into the frame. Right. Okay. Everything should be back tidy again. We'll need to add a couple of zip ties to our spots back here, but I think we're good to go. We'll need to still reprint that one side piece, but that's easy to do. Sorry, I know I'm not paying attention to chat so much, so I do like it. Tell you something. You get me some minis and vehicles done, I will paint them. Okay, for free then. Minis are your jam. Yeah, the worker bots, like every time you turn around, the worker bots are like rabbits and they keep spawning. Those worker bots are like insidious. Am I right, Free Heathen? Okay, I wanted to do a couple of zip ties back here just to make sure that my wire management stayed a little nicer and somewhat prettied up. The one goes just around the one side just to keep the sleeving going good, and then the other one goes around both of them to kind of hold them together and give them a little bit more structure. And I just put my clippers away. Snip one, snip two. I will worry about replacing the VHB on my bed Wagos a little bit later. For now, I just want to get her plugged in. Oh, come on. That's the other thing I don't like about this is this socket that they gave you. It doesn't, I'll say, fit all the way in and clip, which means the clips in the socket kind of stick out some into where your plug goes, which prevents your plug from um, I'll say engaging safely, fully. You gotta, there we go. You gotta play with it to get it in there. But we will solve that. These are for the side panel that I need to reprint or acetone weld and fix. Give me 1 second to put a few things away and then we'll get some prints started again. Break out some more filament or grab one that's already open. Set this off to the side. Use that. Gray ABS. That's ABS. We're not going to use that color. Um. ABS. ABS. Well, that's ABS. Apparently, I print a lot of ABS. Oh, here's some cobalt blue. And I need to get a spool holder for it. So we'll just pop something out and take a spool holder. All right, so spool holder. We'll need a little tap or a little bit of PTFE tube at the top of that. And then what I'll do is I'll just start a couple of prints and we'll watch things go. Actually, Ragnarok, we still need to change the direction of the extruder motor on it. Hey, Solar 3DP, how are you doing, my friend? Welcome on in. Welcome on into the Dragon's Den. We are doing good. We've been trying to get some repairs done on our Fabrico Rook while we've been printing on the Rook 2020. What we were doing on the Rook 2020 is we were converting it from a Bowden to a direct drive setup by moving the Sherpa Mini from the back up to the front because I was having too many problems with it actually pushing the PTFE tube out of the top in the Bowden style setup. So now we've got our, I'll say the tale of two Rooks going on here where we've got both of our Rooks able to print again, hopefully, We know the 2020 is printing well. Let's see if we can get this, the Ragnarok running as well. So I need to attach the Ragnarok. Oh, don't have Ragnarok saved. Give me 1 second to find Ragnarok. So how are you doing tonight, Solar? You doing anything fun? Yeah, we'll talk about that in a second. Um, Apple Airport Express. What the hell is that? It it helps if we turn it on. Eating dinner? Okay. Yeah, no kidding. What is for dinner? There we go. Oh, oh, not Kyber Dragon, Luke. We need Ragnarok. Where's Ragnarok? There we go. 83. There we go. Now I need to. Okay, so Ragnarok. So this side, we need to, because we changed the, rather than coming in at the bottom and going out the top, we're coming in the top and going out the bottom. So we need to one, screw our Sherpa down. There we go. We need to change the direction of our extruder motor. So all we have to do is come down to the dir pin or the direction pin for our extruder and add an exclamation point, save and restart. And just like that, we change the direction of our extruder. Easy peasy lemon squeezy. Now we do need to load our filament up. Meanwhile, we'll come over here and we'll just tell it to reprint a job. I did. I did, Modlight. Soka was fire last week. Um, I'm trying to think if I'm caught up. Tonight should be episode 5, right? Okay, so I told this one to go ahead and get started. What I do want to do though is look at my macros over here. They did modify my macros slightly. Come over to Ragnarok macros. Streamline that a little bit. Save and close. I need line underscore purge. And printer config. Okay, so what I just did was updated my print start macro, and I'm including the line purge from camp. So even though I'm not running probes on these, so I can't do the clipper adaptive mesh part, I can do the purge part. And so that's what I just basically set up over here on Ragnarok. So once I get my filament loaded, I will then be able to do a restart, which will then pick up the new settings, and I'll be able to run a print and actually get a line purge done. Yep, we're on 5. Okay, good. Oh, I was just trying to remember what episode we're on now. Yeah, I don't want to give any spoilers. Not of Ahsoka. I don't want to be that guy. Not going to be that guy. Okay, looks like we got a good purge. Let me rephrase that. Looks like we're still purging. Oh yeah, I got to change that. That ain't going to fly. That's like, let me purge like 700 millimeters of filament. When we do a, dear God, it's still going. What kind of filament load did I have on this? Oh, duh, yeah. 450. Yeah, we're going to change that. What are we doing for load here? Yeah, just 100. That's good. Filament load. Let's do 100. God, we don't even need to do, well, yeah, we'll do 100. Didn't need to prime the nozzle after that. I forgot I had it set for the long Bowden tube. Okay, so we'll do a save and restart. And let's just do a tally dragging because that should be fairly quick. Yeah, you found an SKR Pico V1 for 23 bucks this weekend. Oh, that's nice. 21 bucks, you mean? Okay. On it, yeah, that's great if you can pick that up. Like I said, I really like the Picos. They're designed for the Voron V0, but they work well for a Rook as well because the Rook's the same size, you got the same number of motors, and they're just great little printers. And the Rook 2020 here, because I haven't come up with a name. Yeah, we've got some pretty good speed and excel on this. So you're seeing we're hitting even 130 briefly on some of the perimeter feeds here. But if I'm doing something big, yeah, we can get close to 200 millimeters a second on this. So if I'm doing something that's full sheet, hey, Papa Bear AZ, how are you doing? Welcome on in. So we're playing with the Rooks tonight. we got the Rook 2020 going last stream, and I've been printing on it ever since then, just doing some tuning prints and stuff like that. So I've gone through and I've done extrusion multiplier, I've done pressure advance, I've done input shaping. So this one's, I'm not going to say perfectly tuned in, but it's tuned in well. Now I'm trying to get like, I need to still do like retract, and I need to dial in for miniatures on this one if I'm going to do miniatures. Ragnarok, we've had printing in the past, and I was just getting kind of frustrated with the actual Bowden setup. So now we switched to a direct drive, and we're going to see how that works on this one. And like I said, I may wind up switching out from the the Rookery, and going over to a Sentinel because it'll be a little bit lower center of gravity on the tool head. Oh yeah, Monlight, I'd pick one up too for $22. Exactly, Chewy. And Mrs. Dragon went and made a run on Sunday, and they said they had two in the store there in Denver, and when she got there, they couldn't find them. So I think she just picked up a couple of Raspberry Pi Picos with Pico WHs. So the Raspberry Pi Pico wireless version with headers, and she was going to go back and look again to see if they got them in on a truck before she leaves. She's actually flying home tomorrow. And I did also pick up via Amazon, a little more expensive, but I've got a Pi Zero 2W and a Pi Zero W that just came in. So I've got some bench stock now. Oh, you went back yesterday and they still didn't have them? Are you going to try tomorrow maybe? Maybe. Maybe. You're not coming home till later. Hey, Miss Dragon. So guys, it's up to Miss, say it's up to Miss Dragon, but yeah, okay. Not emergency stop, but sitting there like, why is that right up against the bed? And it's because I need to, my line purge actually calls for a thick line, and my max extrude cross section is set at 0.8, so that's not going to work. We're just going to make it 8. Save and restart. And Kelly Dragon. Print. So yeah, Chewy, I was gonna say I'm kind of looking to stock up some. Well, I know you're going to a breakfast for a friend, but you don't leave until like 3. Take it easy, shenanigans. Have a great night, my dude. Yeah, we'll talk, Chewy. Maybe you'll have to send a couple in the package you're going to send me that you want me to build for you. Hey, Edge 3D, how are you doing? Scott, glad to have you in here. Well, well, yeah. I'll let you get away with it for now. No, two's good, Mrs. Dragon. It's all good. It's all good. Um, you just finished up the Polymaker Trident. Nice. So Ragnarok on the left. This is running Polymaker Lime and Blue ABS, and then the Rook 2020 on the right, of course, is a 2020 black frame, and it's Polymaker Orange ABS with some black pieces for the tool head and the board in the back. Basically, what I've got on the 2020 is a V0 umbilical. So it's got the tool head board that everything on the tool head mounts to, and then a 14-pin connector that comes to a breakout board that's mounted on the back. Yay, we are back up and running. We've got 3 operational Rooks now because the other Rook, which is Gold Dragon, the only thing that was wrong with it was we blew the cheap $20 power supply. So I've got 3 of them now. So I'll have a spare with me at IRF in case we have bad power at IRF again. So Timor, are you still out there? Timor, calling Timor. And Scott, you're going to drag that box along with you to IRF, right? So Timor, I'd pick it up, but it's big. So we'll just do this. To give you an idea. With the RC radios. Yeah, don't forget your RC radios again. So this box is 26.5 inches, 15 inches, 24 inches. So, yeah. So the Flying Bear Reborn 2, and I think there's another package still coming with this because I was just watching somebody else that got the same thing. And I think this is the standard printer, and the PEI bed and the automatic bed leveling sensor will come in a separate box. So I'm waiting for that to come in. So go to this view so you can just see the printers going. Yeah, he always makes things work, but yeah. It did. It came quick. In fact, tracking still says it's en route. So, yeah, I don't know what's going on with the tracking, but there should be another box that came with it. I don't know if they were really shipped separately because I at first got a USPS, last mile tracking number, and then I got a FedEx last mile tracking number. So for Saturday's stream, we will get into this box here. This is a Flying Bear Reborn 2. It is... Apparently, I don't have that page up right yet, so give me a second. Flying Bear Reborn... There we go. Yeah, so they're a custom extrusion where one side is rounded so that the corners of the printer are rounded over. But I'll bring this up here. So the Flying Bear Reborn 2, it is coming with the PEI bed and the automatic bed leveling. This is, let's see, it's Core XY, TMC 2209 drivers. It uses a, what does it use? I had it up. Give me 1 second. Nope, not that one. It uses an MKS Robin Nano board, which the nice thing is the Robin Nanos can be clipperized. So we should be able to put clipper on this fairly easily when we're done getting it initially installed and up and running, because we're going to run it the way it comes out of the box. I'm pretty sure that we would have to do a different screen for clipper screen, because I'm pretty sure that the screen that comes with it will not work with clipper screen. But it's Core XY. It's got a mains heated bed, so that'll be nice. I will check out what SSR it has, and if I don't like it, I will replace it. That's just going to be a safety thing. It's got an all-metal hot end that should be good to 300 degrees, I believe it says. There is Wi-Fi connection functionality, but it comes in the form of you've got to add a dongle to it. I don't think it comes out of the box. It does have a filament runout sensor, resume printing, blah, 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 80% pre-built. It has a foldable insulation cover, so it basically has a tent. The printing area size is 325 by 325 by 350. So this is a helmet size printer. I'm like, why is this going? And it's the table shaking that bad that it's moving the mouse or the scroll wheel on the mouse. The overall printer dimensions is 525 by 558 by 595 millimeters. Standard layer thicknesses of a 0.4 nozzle. It says max printing speed is 150 millimeters per second. I'm sure we'll do better than that. Position accuracy, standard. Hot end temperature can go up to 350, which means it should be an all-metal design. Can do up to ABS printing temperatures on the bed. 24 volt, 300 watt. Says it should have Wi-Fi. I'll double check. I believe it may actually have Wi-Fi on the board. We'll double check. So yeah, one of the nice things on the extruder is it has a clear front plate, so you can see through to the actual filament. It's got the larger style extruder gears, so you'll get more teeth per gear side that's engaging with the filament, like an LGX or an LGX Lite. I'm gonna have to move this to something else. It has 10 millimeter belts versus 6 millimeter belts. So that's going to be pretty interesting. I want to see that. Would make swapping out to a different style hot end a little bit harder. Not completely undoable, because I have seen people already have mods to put a stealth printer on this. So who knows what will happen. It does have, it says a patented nut design. And at first I looked at this and I was like, that's a standard anti-backlash nut. The difference is there's springs, which tells me that the base may be floating and have a spring that allows it to float in there. So that'll be interesting. We'll take a look at that. You know, Marlin touchscreen. The filament sensor, resume printing on a blackout. Yeah, it looks like an interesting design. We'll check this out. We're getting some fairly decent speeds out of both of our printers here. And what Scott's going to be bringing to me at Earth, and we've talked about this, is the Ender XY conversion kit. So this converts a Ender 3 into a Core XY printer. And all of the purple parts here are aluminum, just like on the belt printer. So they're all whoops. Okay, sorry about that. Now we're back from the ad break that I didn't see. So the other thing that we're going to have is the Ender XY conversion kit. This is what Scott Edge of 3D is going to bring to Earth for me. And we did confirm that the kit that he was sent does have the ByQ-H2 V2S and an SKR Mini, so it does have the two optional upgrades for this printer as well. And once again, this takes the standard Ender 3 and converts it into a Core XY. Hey, KB3D Chris, how's it going? How are you doing, my friend? And so basically what we were saying is it does have the necessary extrusions and all of the extruded aluminum, or not extruded aluminum, but the anodized aluminum parts, as well as the ByQ-H2 V2S extruder and the SKR Mini. So once again, that would be a $338 package, and that would be on top of having an Ender 3. And KB3D Chris has been streaming lately, and he has been working on his black box, the beta kit for his black box. They've had, 80% part kits, and now you're trying to do a 100% kit for the black box. So, whoops. AB3 initially. So we'll do a shout out for Chris. We're going to do a shout out for Edge of 3D, hopefully. All right, Edge of 3D. Oh, it's all lowercase. Great. Figures. Yeah. So we can check those guys out. I've also seen Creatrix Brit hanging out in here. We got Pez Liz, of course. Pez Liz. It always takes me 15 times to type her name. For whatever reason, I always go PEX. Yeah. Definitely let's go and follow everybody and share the love around. If I miss anybody else, feel free to shout each other out. Let's definitely continue to build the community and get everybody connected. I know Shenanigans was here earlier and he's not here, so I can't actually I can't shout him out because I don't know how to spell his handle correctly. Oh yeah, Mod Light, there we go. Thanks, bud. Oh, not a problem, Britt. And Britt, you're going to be doing a crossover stream tonight, correct? And Pez Liz yesterday had a Z and Z, but it was actually a P and Z because she had Pooch on there. Papa Bear AZ. Yeah, Papa Bear, you stream, correct? Hey, Stephen Poole, how you doing? Take it easy, Stephen Poole. Have a good night. Nick 3DP, I believe you do you stream as well, Nick? Ah, you did a Bug-Boo 310. Okay, I did the standard Bug-Boo with the standard Ender 3 build plate. In fact, Chewy keeps talking to me about when I'm going to put that back on stream or what I'm going to do with it. I wonder if he's trying to get me to just give it to him. But yeah, we've got, let me switch views here. So we've got the Rook 2020, and it is printing out the chameleons, the Toys for Tots, the Toys for Tots chameleons. 3 to a plate. And Ragnarok is printing a Cali Dragon right now. Hey, Brand Markey, how are you doing? Welcome on in. Thank you for the first time chat. You know, that's what we do. That's what we do. We take old printers and we revive them and we make them into something new. In fact, I've got a TiVo Tarantula sitting over here that I've been loath to give, do anything with. It's it was my first 3D printer, and we're going to bring that up here at some point and do a revival stream on it as well. So yeah, we're going to do a revival build on that at some point. Let's go ahead and my plan is to have all 3 of my Rooks at Earth. So the original one was Gold Dragon, which is here. This is a Mark 1 build. This is a Bowden style running a BMG gear. We did build this on stream. In fact, all 3 of my Rooks have been built on stream. So we will have all 3 of these at Earth, but they won't all 3 be on my table. The Rook 2020, of course, it's orange and black, and it has a KB3D build plate on it. So this is probably going to sit at KB3D's table, along with the 0G Mercury 1 that was there at Murph. We're going to have those two at his table, provided he's got enough room for them. We're also E3D was asking for people that might have printers with Revo hot ends that could be at their table. I may have Gold Dragon over there printing throughout the show. I will have to do something to get some type of screen on it so that we can run prints off of it, because all three of these are running Clipper, and so I'll need a Clipper screen or something on it so that we can run some prints. And then on my table, we'll probably have the Fabrico Rook, and we will have the Trident and Kyber Dragon, which is the LVO 20, or excuse me, the LVO 300 size 2.4 build. We'll have those at the table. We'll also have me and Evil Diesel, who will be sitting there with me. We'll have Mechanism Death Racers there. I'm going to have at least one drag racer. He may bring his as well if he gets it done in time. So we'll have some drag racers. Potentially have the Ivan Miranda mini tank. It's all ready to go. We just need to get a battery to run the actual receiver for it. So, and Free Heathen, I am seriously thinking, I printed out this, I'm seriously thinking of mounting this turret to it and just providing it, give it a weapon. But I got to ask your permission first, if you'll let me. But yeah, this is the Ivan Miranda mini tank Mark V. So nice little tank build. If I can unscrew the lid far enough. There we go. So we've got what are basically motors for quadcopters, and they're running large pulleys here, and one for each side, so that drives the track on each side. And we'll have a 30 amp ESC in here, so we'll have the battery pack, and we'll also need the receiver for the radio in here as well. So we'll get these things put in here. We may just mount some of these things up here with some VHB tape or something, and we'll connect the motors in, and away we'll go. But we should have this there, hopefully. If not, it'll be at the next show. No big deal. I won't make Smurf because I don't have a passport, but we could potentially get a soft foam dart turret would be really, really cool to add to this. I just don't know if we would have the room for electronics to add that, to make this a working, because it'd be really cool if it was a swiveling and actual shooting turret, but we'd have to definitely work on that. So Free Heathen, if we want to make it moving and shooting, that would be a you thing, not a me thing. Because yeah, I don't have that that talent. Maybe Evil Diesel does. I don't know, but I do know that Ivan Miranda built we'll say a Oh, the ball pit balls. He created a turret out of those. It was basically a 4-barrel handheld, like massive turret gun. And then he mounted one of those onto his tank that he drives in, that he can actually sit in and drive in. But no, for this, I plan on just running this around the yard and showing it off to the kids in the neighborhood and taking it to shows. You can make it shoot mod light. It probably would be, but yeah, that would just require me to learn some new skills and fire up some brain cells that I may have killed off many years ago. Yeah, if you guys want to develop something, that's definitely doable. I can't really give you the Ivan Miranda files though, so you'd have to just say, okay, you know, have a base that I can mount onto Ivan's tank, and we can just drill a hole or cut a hole out and we'll reprint a new top, and then basically have to make the swivel mechanism as a bolt-on type of thing. Yeah, 2 switches, 2 motors. Hey, I, yeah, yeah. I call myself a maker. I make things like these. I make these. It's been a long, long while since, like, and when I say long while, I'm talking like 30 years since I've done any true RC stuff, like RC planes and stuff. So I can follow instructions, but that's about it. Okay. Yeah. So what I'll do is I can maybe what I'll do is I'll take the top and just send you guys the file of the top and be like, yeah, and then we can go, okay, this is what we want. We just want it to be a like a. It doesn't even have to be a soft foam dart. I mean, it can just be just about anything. Um, but yeah, cool. Awesome, awesome, awesome. So yeah, so in the upcoming build stuff, so between now and Earth, you'll probably see me do some stuff on the cosplay armor where I'm just trying to assemble the various pieces and stuff like that. And then that's what happens when you bait the animal. Exactly. I'll work on the cosplay armor and assembling the various pieces and stuff. Some we'll do the flying bear build on Saturday because once again, it'll take us. Everybody I've seen takes a few hours to at least get it put together. So doing it on a Saturday where we normally run long anyhow is probably better off for doing the unboxing initial build. And that'll be some good fill in. Then coming back from Earth, we'll have the Core XY, the Ender 3 Core XY conversion kit to work on. And I'm going to talk to KB3D Chris about a black box and how, if we can work something out on a black box that I can bring to the stream. If Chris is out there listening. Oh, dude, yeah, we can talk about all kinds of things like that. Definitely. See, there you go, loud and clear, loud and clear. Of course, I'm waiting for Chris to sit there and go, okay, Digital Dragon, Luke, um, I like having the zero G on the table, but it's the wrong color scheme, so you're gonna have to redo the color scheme. It's what I'm waiting on. Oh, I know, Free Heathen. You talk about not teasing the animals all the time as I bang into your stream and talk about stuff. You wouldn't do that to me? Yeah. Oh, cool, Free Heathen. Now, Chris, are you still talking about possibly doing a zero G kit? Like full frame up build kit? Because I know you were talking to Dutch about it. Okay, cool. Oh yeah, Bob Smith Industries has awesome CA glue. Um, yep, use it all the time. And I became aware of Bob Smith Industries, both their CA glue and epoxies, when I was doing RC airplanes. So yeah, that comes in handy. In fact, I probably still have some epoxy from way back in the day. I don't know. Does epoxy go bad? Like two-part epoxy? Yeah. Yeah. And so once again, the plan for the armor is, we upsized it a little bit, and then the plan will be to um add a layer of EVA foam on the inside of it, so that we've got something against the body, so it's not, I'll say, rubbing me raw. But yeah, it's going to be a lot of sanding, a lot of filling in those seams of the multi parts, because, like I said, this is the two halves of the lower back. Even if I sand this down, because the edges are on the print are rounded, they're not going to be perfect. So we will have some type of seam that we'll have to fill. And I've got various things to try on that. So my thought was to acetone weld, and then um, I've got some UV reactive uh, UV reactive acrylic that I can use to brush on and try and smooth some things. Or I also have Bondo glazing putty that we can use to fill in the big gaps, right? I've also seen people take resin, and you can do epoxy with well, hell, even if I can take the sanding dust, right? If I sand over something and collect the ABS dust, I can mix that with resin and use that as a filler material as well. Well, by resin, I'm literally talking about like resin. Mix it up and make it a little bit more of like a paste material, and then use a UV flashlight because I'm going to do it in a thin coat. Yeah, baking soda as well, I've heard. And you should be able to UV cure it with the UV light if you do thin coats. That is 3D print resin free, heathen. Don't start with me. Yeah, and my son was using epoxy resins and doing they made front end caps for RVs. Now he's in a different plant where he's doing everything with wood, which I like a lot better because he has asthma issues as well. So sitting there in a hot plant cooking epoxy, not good for him. Hey, C. Travis, how you doing, my friend? Yeah, so like I said, there's different things that you can do. And yeah, so this is from Total Boat, and it's a UV clear resin. So what you can do is you can try and work off your big layer lines, and then you can take, and they suggest doing small areas. So like don't cake a whole helmet on, but you can do small areas of a helmet and then UV cure that area and continue to work your way around. And that will help fill in the low spots quicker so that you can, get your low spots filled in a lot quicker. So that's what I was doing, was going to try some of that as well. So yeah, it's a UV cure resin. I've seen people use straight 3D print resin and do the same thing with it. I had one person I saw that basically coated it with standard UV resin, took it outside, just let it sit outside in the sun for like 40 minutes and cure, and then bring it in and sand it and do it that way. Yeah. Composite aircraft and drag racing cockpits, and you're out in Arizona, right, Mon? Or no, you're not in Arizona. You're in Oklahoma. I was going to say, were you out there with was it Custom Composites with Burt Rutan's folks? But no. And that's the thing is with the resins, and there's different. Like you got to be careful. Like don't mix a standard epoxy resin with a polyurethane resin. Bad juju happens. Yeah, that's right. You were in Oklahoma, but in New Mexico, yeah. Yeah, we talked about cable lacing because in airframes, you want to do cable lacing, not zip ties a lot because too much vibration and things like that. You always want to do something that's a lot less abrasive. Yeah, don't cross the resins. Like don't cross the streams. Don't cross the resins. Um. Uh. Yeah, and just definitely wear your protection. Cable ties. So if you're doing things with aircrafts, these are no bueno. You do not want to use zip ties, cable ties, because there's so much vibration. It will actually abrade from the sides of it. That's why we talk about cable lacing, because it's literally what is that material, Modlight? I can't remember it's a special material too. It's similar to the inner core of paracord, isn't it? Yeah, I know a lot of people do use cable ties, but I was not. I was using actual cable lacing. There you go. There you go. Yeah. So it's a wax lacing. Yeah. So we've got. I'm liking this, though. I am seeing. I don't know if you can tell, but every time it does a retract, you can see the top kind of lean back some, and part of that's because your Sherpa is mounted at the front here with two screws, and the only thing that's mounting this to the rookery is two screws on the back. So there is kind of a lever there. Um, I wonder if because there's a gap in the front, I wonder if there's a way that we can, if I can mod this mount to add a triangle that would probably stiffen it up some. Oh, okay. So let me bring you guys over here and you'll see what I'm talking about. So you see how it rocks back? And when it rocks back like that, it's doing a retract. So that's how much force these little mini Sherpas have. And it's because the Sherpa is mounted up here in front, but this black piece, the only mount points are these two bolts back here. So what I'm wondering is if in the middle here, if I add some type of triangular piece to it, if it will stiffen it up a little bit more and give us a little bit of help. If not, um, what I'm thinking of course, would be to do a Sentinel because the Sentinel was originally designed for a Sherpa. This is actually a mod to put an orbiter on it, but I've got to check the side to side and make sure that I'm not going to lose too much print area on the build. But this will go to Earth, I'll say like it is, and then potentially I'll look at swapping it out because I can either do a Sentinel on it or I've got parts for a Dragon Burner, and I think the Dragon Burner I will definitely lose um, print area. Not that I'm too concerned with it. You can get away with it in the 2020 frame because you get more X um, movement anyhow. Yeah, 500 yards would do quite a few 3D printers. But yeah, so far, I mean, we're printing good. Um, probably not the best, but that's simply because I have two printers that are rocking this table at the same time. I probably need to put yeah, these are rocking big time. Probably need to put, like a rubber piece and then a paver underneath these, because if you're running them at speed, they're going to shake, rattle around a bit. But a functional print that I did on the Rook 2020. A little tight still. But the boxes for the stickers. Yep, we are going to have stickers at the table. I bought 500. You guys think I need more than 500? I could, but Mud Light, I thought about throwing one in the package, and for whatever reason, I ran out today and didn't. But I will get you a sticker. I'll get you a sticker. That ain't no problem. I'll probably order another round, and I'll order another round. I'm not sure how big Earth is. I've never been to Earth, so I don't know how big the show normally is. Of course, I think I did. If Miss Dragon's still around, she printed a bunch of cards for me to take to Murph, and I think I came home with like 3 or 4 of them. So I'm going to have her start printing me off some more cards for the table that have all of my socials and stuff on it. It's pretty big, but not wild. But you know what, Pez? Looking at the turnout that we had at Rocky Mountain, which was insane, and then looking at the turnout we had at Murph, which was insane, because I've been there 3 years now, and there was a lot more people there this year. I think people are starting to travel, unless this, COVID in some states starting to talk about masking again freaks people out. We may have, it may be a little bit bigger, but yeah. Yeah. This was the first year for Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Festival, and they blew away all expectations. I think they had like 1,300 people the first day through the doors. And then Murph, this is my 3rd year going to Midwest Rep Rap Festival, and it was stupid crazy compared to the last 2 years. And I mean, we had Creality there. We had Big Tree Tech was there, which that's the first time I've seen them there. Yeah, it was just so many more people at Murph this year. And I don't know if it's just people starting to get back out there now that the major COVID scare is out. Yeah, Rocky Mountain was definitely the one to go to, but because it's so far away, we've talked about, because we have family there, of Mrs. Dragon actually driving the car out and bringing a few printers so that I could have a table, and then me flying out there, because with my asthma and everything, I've got to be careful. Like doing a 4-day long weekend, I can handle, but anything more than that, and I stand a chance of getting put in the hospital and having an extended stay. Um, so if she can drive out and drive the vehicle, that way I could get printers out there and then, she'll drive them back. I think that would be good. And in fact, if I tell her I'm taking printers that won't come back with me or her, that would make her even happier, probably. And she would be more willing to drive out there for a couple of days. Oh yeah, and quite honestly, so when Rocky Mountain happened, I was like, I gotta go, I'm going. But it was literally, I flew in Friday and I flew out Monday, and that was my guarantee, was 4 days, because the last time I did 5 or 6 days, and it was in October time frame. There were some fires. I think it was October. There was fires going on, and I was within 12 hours of getting on my flight, and I wound up like full, like, I don't know. I had all the symptoms of sepsis, like full body infection. Everything went crazy. I spent like 4 days in the hospital and then came home. So yeah, I know my limits. 4 days, and if there's fires, then I talk to my doctor about getting supplemental oxygen, and I'll wear a mask. But yeah, I've already got my tickets for next year for Rocky Mountain Rep Rap Fest, and one way or the other, like, I'll probably, if I don't have a table, then I'm probably gonna like volunteer and help with the event. Yeah, it's not the worry about getting sick. It's just the altitude, right? So with having asthma, getting up at 6,200 feet or higher at that location, there's just not as much oxygen, and my oxygen depletes. So when I was on 24 hours a day supplemental oxygen when I left um, Colorado and moved to North Carolina. And as soon as I got down here, I started getting all of my doctors, so cardiologists, pulmonologists, and so forth. And when I finally got into my cardiology or pulmonologist, and they were checking me out, they were like, "Why are you on oxygen?" Like, what? So yeah, between that and doing the weight loss surgery, like, I've got nothing. Oh yeah. And in fact, my mother-in-law has an oxygen machine, an oxygen concentrator at her house. But I mean, it's the big roll around floor model. So when I was coming back every night from the show, she was like, do you need to hit this for a couple hours?" I'm like, "No, I'm good. I'm checking my pulse ox." So yeah, we we've got something. Yeah, we've got it. We've got it hooked up. My doctor, I can probably talk to him and explain the situation, and they'll write a prescription for one that I can pick up there and then turn back in when I leave. Yeah, yeah. We know the tricks. We know the ropes. So yeah, I'm probably gonna have to change this out to something else. I don't like how it keeps rotating back every time it does a retract. I mean, the print's still coming out fairly decent, but and there's a fresh print of chameleons. And this is the Polymaker. What is this? The Polymaker Aqua Blue. Yeah, I've just been ripping through these, just trying to break this printer in some before earth, because your belts will always loosen up a little bit. You'll have to retension things, but oh yeah, that's true. If I wear my cosplay, then I can actually route the oxygen up underneath. I would just have to modify the backpack or the jet pack to hold a small bottle of oxygen. That would be awesome. Yeah, and Mod Light, it was they had so many people at the venue. I think they had like it was 1,800 square feet that by the last day they were already saying we need to get you the other side of the building as well. So they're going to double their floor space. And one of the things that they're going to have is an area where makers or exhibitors and or other people that need to, they're going to have like I'll say a quiet room where people can go to. Yeah. Yeah, there we go. 18,000 square feet and over 3,000 people. And they're going to have a second 18,000 square foot side of the venue. So, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. Well, and even Royal Nomi, like she was like, okay, I need to go outside for a while. There's just too many people in one place. And I get that because there were some times where I was like, yeah, I need a place to, like I went and sat with Scott and Dutch Dude a couple of times, sat behind their booth, just kind of chilling out, trying to hide a bit. That and I wore my insulated hunting boots and on concrete floor. Oh dear God, my feet were killing me. Yeah, and you can have service dogs. Now they have to have their service dog markings on and stuff. But yeah, I mean it's I get it with the large crowds and stuff. I do get that. So I'm going to change up, and I think I sent some other files. Yeah, we're going to do some more, a different one of the bob prints. We're going to do some triceratops, baby triceratops. Yeah, the Rocketeer cosplay would work for something like that. Um, we had service dogs at. Actually, there were several dogs at Murph, and I believe Rocky Mountain's good with service dogs. I'm trying to remember. Um, Okay. Well, and I know that some service dogs, they either have the vest or some type of like even a collar or something that just signifies that this is service dog. But yeah, I mean, to me, if anybody stops you and is like, "Is that a service dog?" I normally don't see that. Like, trust me, you're supposed to have a service dog in um like Lowe's and Home Depot, but yeah, I've yet to see an actual like Chihuahua as a service dog. They may be, but whatever. To me, I don't care either way. You know, if you've got a dog there, that's fine. I could care less. Yeah. Well, it's one thing too, like if it's local and they give you a beef, then it's like, okay, whatever, dude. I'm out. But if you travel to a show, that's where it sucks when they pull stuff like that. But I'm pretty sure, and they'll probably say on the event site, and I can maybe I'll jump on. Well, I was like, maybe I'll jump on Justin's show tomorrow, but I'll be picking Miss Dragon up when he streams tomorrow night. But we can definitely get that answer. Yeah, definitely we can get that answer. Well, and that's too, depending on your service dog. Like I've seen some service dogs, even with vets at a Bridge to Sports, which is a disabled vet sporting event, that we've had some of the dogs themselves that just get skittish and get so pulled back because there's so many people there. And like you said, they the owners can't really participate in the sport because the dogs are like, no, I need to protect my owner, and they're a little skittish as well. So yeah, there you go. There you go. Yeah, I could remember. Yeah, Mod Light, you got to remember, I'm 51 years old and I've got so much stuff going on. I do tend to forget some things. I do tend to forget things. Yeah, yeah, I get it. I get it. All right, guys. Well, it is 8 o'clock. We've been streaming for almost 3 hours. Um, and I think we're doing good. This was just going to be kind of a chill stream. We were going to show off the prints over here. And as you can see, this one's a little bit slower on this print, or at least the first layer goes a little bit slower and then it'll ramp up. But I wanted to show you that we got the Rook 2020 printing and printing well. Something I want to say is we did figure out a difference on the SKR. So actually, I probably shut down that page. So give me 1 second. I want to show you guys something. Yeah, well, that's going to take a while for whatever reason. Yeah, 57-year-olds. No, Papa Bear, I've got so much going on with work right now. And then, the printers, things going on with family that I forget things. All right, you taking off, Mod Light? Have a good one. Thanks for joining, and thanks for the conversation as always. Thank you very much. So that's taken a bit for whatever reason. So this is going to be a little bit busy. We were connecting our filament runout sensor. We had it connected to the servo port right here and the probe port, which is normally where you would plug in your BL Touch, right? Because you got a servo bit that puts the pen down, and then this is basically an end stop on the probe that triggers when the pen comes up. For whatever reason, the filament sensor was not triggering when attached to the servo pen. So I moved this connection over to here, which is the end stop, or excuse me, extruder end stop pen. Okay, and we had to move the pins around because it's a different pin order than the servo pin, and we got the filament to actually auto sense and load, but then the unload wouldn't work. So what I had to do was move this from the 2 pin over here to these 3 pins over here. So IO22 is the middle of these 3 pins right here, and the bottom pin is tied to the top pin of this 2 pin connector, right? So the middle pin over here is actually IO22. So once I did that, I now have the unload button working as well as the filament sensor working. So if no filament's loaded over here, when I stick filament in, it recognizes it. It'll start the macro from the button push, and it heats the hot end up to 235, and then it will pull in and do the initial filament load and purge. Okay? If I push the button at the top, which is unload, it will heat the hot end up to 235 and then do the unload sequence. So we now have that fully working, and that was the first time I had to work that out on a Big Tree Tech Pico. So, yeah. And quite honestly, Timor, that's the issue I have right now. I don't know if you guys have noticed lately, but I'll have to lean in to try and read chat sometimes, or I have to print things kind of big so that I can read them. You may actually see me use my phone and use the magnifying on my phone. So I'm dealing with some cataract issues right now. And I actually just got my surgical consult set up for October 12th. And that's local in my town. Though the office I'm going to has offices all throughout Raleigh and the surrounding area. So Mrs. Dragon, when I told her I had an appointment on October 12th at the local office, she's like, call them back and see if they have an opening somewhere else. So she's trying to get me to push it up, but I don't want to go and then them say, well, we've got an opportunity before Earth, because I'm not going to have surgery before Earth. I'm just not. So, but yeah. Yeah, and that may be something in my future, Timor, as I start to work on other things. Yeah, surgery will clear it up, but then again, they won't do both eyes at the same time. They'll do one eye, then the other. And apparently my right eye prescription is getting worse in the last 8 months, so they'll probably do that one first. Yeah, with a light. Sorry about that. Well, I come by it naturally. Both my parents are in quadfocals, so I come by it naturally. Everybody in my family wears glasses, so my poor kids are going to be blind by the time they're 38, you know. I about said by the time they're 30, and then I got to thinking my oldest son is 30, so but yeah, it's about 8:30. We've been going for 3 hours. I was gonna try and check and see who's available that we might be able to raid into. The Jang, we got Astro Connect Tuner. Babe Ross, Ugly Moo's up there doing some crafting. Who else? Let me go back to Twitch over here and see who else is online. CapTubes is out there chatting as they're doing some boxing up, probably. Stranger Things, Project Red. Project Red is doing a design stream. Stranger Things is on. He only has 2 people, and I don't know how long he's been on, but I know he's printing and maybe playing some games. You guys got any suggestions for a raid? Capricorn? I have no problem going over and hanging out with Aaron and them. We can definitely go into Capricorn. She was a hoot the other night. She was a hoot. What was that? Bring me was it a Mountain Dew or something? And he brought her a bottle of water. Oh, that was a hoot. Oof. You're raiding the kitchen, Timor? I hear you there. I need to do the same thing. Aaron turns 30 tomorrow. Nice. I'm looking at that. I'm assuming that's a handle. See you. Oh, see you later. Okay. I was like, what handle is that? Took me a minute. Okay, so I think I had cap tubes over there. So let me jump back over here, over there. And once our okay, ad break is almost over. As soon as it is, that one. No, I want this one. There we go. Okay, everybody. Thank you guys for being here, enjoying the stream and the Tale of Two Rooks. We've got both of them up and running. That means we've got all 3 rooks up and running for Earth. We had a great chat tonight. Thank you, everybody, for coming out and being so active in the chat. It makes the stream go so much better when everybody's chatting and hanging out. Hey, Pete, welcome on in. Thanks for stopping by. I am getting a raid started to head over to Capricorn Tubes. Please come on with me, everybody, and we'll head over to Capricorn Tubes. While I may be here Thursday, maybe not, Chris. We'll play that one by ear because Mrs. Dragon's coming home tomorrow night, so I'll be picking her up at the airport, and I will only stream if she lets me. If she's pissed off at me and she lets me stream, great. If pissed off at me because I haven't taken care of the yard or the garden or whatever. Exactly. I got to spend time with the wife. She's been gone too long. But if she tells me, get out of my face, I'm mad at you, I'll come up and stream. But we will definitely be back Saturday. And we'll be breaking into the box back here and playing with the flying bear. We'll get that out of the box and start putting that together because we'll need to make room for, the Core XY, the inner Core XY, possibly another 2.4 build for Chewy if he sends me everything. And be talking to Chris over at Earth about a black box build. So let's go over to Cap Tubes. Let's surprise her. Let's jump in there, throw some emotes, and just have a good time hanging out with them tonight. Thanks all for being here, and we'll see you again later. Did that go or not? Okay, it went.